Today, we're talking about the Drowned. She has some pretty interesting water abilities. They're cool. I wish they would exist in this world, but they don't.
Yes, they do.
Really? Show me.
Get 'em up. The story of the Batman of Earth -22 was not much different from that of any other version of the Caped Crusader. When he was a boy, Bruce Wayne watched his parents get murdered in an alleyway. Vowing vengeance against the crime, he trained himself for years and became the hero Batman, fighting supervillains in Gotham City. Everything went sideways for Batman when the Joker started a killing spree across Gotham City. The clown had discovered that he was dying from the same chemicals that had turned him into what he was and wanted to take everyone with him. He murdered all of Batman's enemies, including the Penguin, Catwoman, Killer Croc, and the ventriloquist. The Joker also killed Batman's friend, Commissioner Gordon, who accidentally sprung an acid trap in his notebook and melted his face off. Batman, later drugged by the Joker, temporarily paralyzed his body but not his mind, so he could witness the chaos he caused without being able to do anything about it. The Joker bombed the hospital in front of Bruce and, to make it personal, shot dead the parents of many young children in front of him before proceeding to inject the children with an incurable, irreversible strain of the Joker venom. According to the Joker, he did this in order to create a hybrid of both Batman and Joker. Batman eventually regained movement, and, so traumatized with anger over what he had witnessed, grabbed the Joker and broke his neck. Unbeknownst to Batman, though, the Joker exhaled a toxin contained in his heart, which infected anyone close to him if he died. In this case, it was Batman. 2 days after the murder of the Joker, Batman and Superman talked about what had happened. Though he felt no guilt, he affirmed that he was not planning to make killing a regular thing. Superman assured him that the Star Labs branch in Metropolis has agreed to take. 2 days after the murder of the Joker, Batman and Superman talked about what had happened. Though he felt no guilt, he affirmed that he was not planning to make killing a regular thing. Superman assured him that the Star Labs branch in Metropolis has agreed to take care of all the children who had been infected by the Joker venom. When Superman mentioned how one of the children bit one of the doctors, Batman let out a small laugh, which surprised both of them and alarmed Bruce. A day later, Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin were training in the Batcave and talked to Bruce about the worsening condition. Though they all offered to help the Bat however they could, Batman rebutted that he didn't want any help and revealed that the real reason he called them was that he knew they would be the first to notice something was wrong with him and warn the other heroes. Something he could not allow to happen. And then he surprised them by doing something they were unprepared for. Pulled out a pair of hidden machine guns and shot them all dead. He also retrieved all the Joker transformed children from the original attack and turned them into a new army of pet rabid robins. A week after Joker's death, Batman slaughtered the rest of the Justice League by using a stockpile of various villains' weaponry.
Hey everyone, thank you for stopping by. Today we're talking about the Drowned. I have my daughter with me, Alexis, in her Drowned headpiece here, the cowl. Behind us you can see the costume, and I'm actually pretty excited to get into this. So when I put together this idea about coming up with the Drowned, or coming up with the Dark Knights, I wanted everybody to get into this. Fortunately, my wife didn't, but the three of us did, and I thought it would be actually pretty good for Alexis to do the Drowned. Not because of being a female or so, she does like her female heroes, but I can't see her doing like the Devastator, the big hulking beast, or she could have done the Emerald Dawn, but anyways, as you heard in the origin, the Drowned is a amalgamation of Aquaman and Batman put together. Actually, on this world, Batman is a female. Everything's all gender bent. It's slightly changed over. Batman's mother, Bryce Wayne's mother father was Martin Wayne, instead of, on this world, Batman's mother's Martha. So, but anyways, let's start with getting into the costume proper. We're going to start with the headpiece here. This cowl was a rubber cowl that I purchased off of eBay. It was actually pretty big for Alexis's head, being child versus adult. And I ended up trimming out some of the mask itself. This went down past her neck. Had a slit in the back to begin with. I took images of the Drowned from the comic book and started seeing if I could find images going around the head, seeing what it does in the back, around the face, the jawline and whatnot. And I transposed it to this mask. I actually had it on one of my headpieces here, put it out, drew on it with a silver Sharpie, and started cutting it out. Now you can actually see some of these sharp areas here and here. That was all part of the cowl. But I wanted the cowl to actually stay firmly on her face, so I opted to stay with a chin strap here. What I had to do is I actually had to take a piece out and glue in a piece in there. But all in all, it worked out really good. There's a zipper in back of the head. Turn around. There's a zipper right here that keeps the head, keeps the cowl together. Just trying to see here. It does have some hand sewn threading back there, but for the most part, it was E6000 glue. Once again, I use that stuff on everything, right up to the point of I actually had to take a section out of the head to bring the mask further in to fit her head. So And when I did that, I took a smaller piece and glued it right inside. So I did do some work to make it fitting for her, for my daughter's head here. Is it tight on there now?
No.
Okay, so it's fairly comfortable. It's fairly comfortable to wear. And once again, you heard me talk about this with my son with the Red Death or any of the other costumes. I want it to be comfortable to wear. Obviously, if you're going out on a con floor with this or wearing this to a convention, you're gonna want to be comfortable. You don't want to be uncomfortable, and it's a long period of time. 8 hours you could be on the con floor, especially if you're looking to join like the costume contest. You're gonna want people to see this costume before you get into the contest, so that you can get the crowd's reaction when you get up on stage. So, but anyways, these are. I was gonna fill the ears up, but they stay up on their own. They're really cool. Yes, this was black. It's a brown color now. I used the, I believe, I went through a few different bottles. I think this is my second bottle of this. But I did use this paint. It's the Liquitex Basic paint. It's the burnt umber, and I painted it on. I wanted a paint, once again, to be able to flex and move, and I didn't think it was imperative that I use the paint of 3 with the liquid latex and the latex house paint, distilled water, just for this headpiece. So I painted it on, and actually the paint held up. It actually held up a little bit better than the liquid latex does. Over a period of time, over a period of time, any kind of latex does end up falling apart and disintegrating. It's a natural product from a tree, so from a rubber tree, so it does deteriorate after a little bit and break down. But this paint actually, it's doing quite well on this. I mean, you could probably ball this up in a ball and it won't crack. So, but I mean, it's been about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years, and it's been on a headpiece in my daughter's room. I'm quite proud of it. So, getting into the rest of the headpiece, it depends on what you see for comic images. You heard me say the same thing about the Red Death. Depends on what you see or what you go with comic materials. Actually, this is on the wrong eye. Anyways, will depend upon what your character is going to look like. And I say that because this headpiece, this bandana, is slightly different depending on who you see. Or what image you see, plus the jacket and the gloves. It's not. No one could get it exactly just right. I mean, you get the premise, but this is just a run-of-the-mill AC. I'm not sure what you call it. Doily piece that I didn't cut it. I ripped it because that's what I want. I want the idea, because this had a pirate-esque feel to it, and being a pirate, obviously, you're not going to be perfect. Your clothing's not going to be all perfect and whatnot. So, the eyepiece, once again, it depends on what image you see. Will depend upon what the eyepiece looks like. I actually had this piece for a little bit now. I thought it was actually pretty cool. It was a watch face at one time. I thought it was pretty cool, so I popped it off, and I kept the glass piece, super glued it in. I'm like, I'm gonna keep this for something. I think I was gonna make it into a monocle or something for a steampunk costume or something like that. But it worked out really well with this. Let's see, I'm just looking. It's held on by these elastic bands here. Traditional craft elastics. Super glued in. And then I added some accoutrements to this going through. Just purely decorative aesthetic feel. I know in the comics, this eye is blacked out or white out or red out, whatever. You know, depends on, once again, depends on who you see. I wanted to have field of vision, so you know what? Oh well, you know, if I'm not 100%, I'm not 100%. So, but I think that actually is very close to the comic, especially just this headpiece alone is actually close to it. Later on, I think at the con, I'm getting down to the face area here. She does have a pale complexion. I think at the con, when I was putting on some makeup onto my arms for my Batman Laughs, I wanted like a paleness, so I put on some makeup. I think I slathered a little bit on her face.
You did.
Okay, and down through her chest here. I mean, I could have went through and made some purple veins or something like that. But you can see right here, it's a Batman necklace. In the comics, she actually literally has this in the comics, in all the images. It's a Batman emblem. I just found that on eBay or something like that, and transposed the chain out for Gordon. I once again, I wanted a rough-esque, so I wanted a rustic-esque feel for that costume. So once again, very good peripheral vision with this mask. I wanted to keep it that way. She didn't need to physically move her head to see something that was just a little bit off her, probably like around the shoulder area. All right, let's get into the body here. Let's start with this, which is just a standard run-of-the-mill jacket. If you follow the original story, if you follow the original storyline and the one-shot of the Drowned, you can do this, because all you do is show the back. So, one shot of the Drowned. She does have a longer jacket with buttons on it, believe it or not. Some of the other images has her with a shorter jacket. There's a statue out that has her with a shorter jacket, but in the one shot she had a longer jacket. I do have a shorter one she could have used, but I wanted to go with this. But because she was short and whatnot, I actually had to adjust this jacket out. I did buy, this was a larger kid's size jacket. It was a custom jacket. Oh yeah, it's a size small. So it's probably an adult small, most likely.
Yeah.
So I had to shorten down her arms here. Once again, she could put her arms up, arms out. It was actually very comfortable for her. She's grown a little bit, so yeah, she's grown a little bit, but you can see with some of the images that it was coming down to her wrist length. I think I spent maybe $12 on this, and I did. I'm just looking at it. I don't think I shortened it all. I think I just shortened the arms. Sewing machine. She did have some just generic gloves.
Where's the other one?
Oh well, the one's right here. Just some regular old generic gloves. I just wanted that feel. For a kid size, you can't really find leather gloves for a kid size. I was having a lot of trouble finding the Batman gloves in a kid size, so I opted just to go with just some run-of-the-mill, off-the-shelf gloves. She didn't have any of the traditional Batman gauntlet fins. Alright. Where to go next? Let's start with this belt. Well, let's go on with this belt. This was a toy belt that I picked up off of eBay. Actually, I think Amazon. It's a faux leather belt. And what I had to do was I'm just trying, pardon me, I'm just trying to think how I did it. I want to say I took out a section of the belt to fit Alexis around the waist. In some of the comic images or in the concept art, you do see the drowned with like a harpoon gun or so. This went to my Robin cosplay, the Tim Drake Robin cosplay. But what it is it's a toy grappling hook, toy grappling hook, and I made a launcher or hook itself. Pardon. Just to give it some feel, let me explain a little bit. It was orange and white, so I opted just to paint it silver, do some black washing on it, and it works. Well, not physically work, but I wish it did.
Yeah.
It would be pretty cool. But it serves its purpose as a prop, pretty believable prop. So, but, the belt, just to keep it up on Alexis, it still had these leg ties, so I'll have to go with that. I didn't take anything off. I, once again, pirate-esque. It was a bunch of parts meshed together. So, let's get into these two pieces: the shirt and the corset. Now, on the one-shot comic, you can actually see some images of a corset on her. Also on the cover of that one shot, she has a corset. Actually, all through the whole thing, she has a corset, but it's slightly different. Depends on what you see. So what I did is, as you can see with some of the images that are coming through, I wrapped Alexis in a plastic wrap body and put some masking tape around her. What I wanted is I wanted a piece. I didn't care so much about the full purpose of a corset. Do you know what a corset does?
Nope.
Okay, corset actually holds in a lot of stuff. Like with me, it'll be good on me because I got a fat tummy, but it actually holds your whole body in.
Core?
Yep, the whole core in, and it gives you a more slender or so look. So, and it's actually very popular during the, the 1700s? Oh, not 1700s, I'm sorry. During the Victorian ages, to have a corset on. To wear it on the outside, well, now, that gets a little bit more risque stuff these come through, but anyways, I made the masking tape template and I obviously cut it out and cut each of these individuals because no.
Take it off.
Yeah.
With the mannequin.
There you go. Alright, hold on. As you can see, that I wanted to keep the circular essence to it. So also, I mean, you know, circular. I'm not sure how you want to describe it. It's the more of the curvature to it, so it fits perfectly around your midsection. Once again, it wasn't used for any kind of a purpose. It was just aesthetic. This fabric, I absolutely love this fabric. You might have seen it. Now, I don't recall anything that you might have seen it on regularly, but if you look at it, look at that. It's beautiful. It has a suede feel to it. And the sides are just, once again, purely aesthetic. I put some grommets in, and these are just shoelaces that came out of an old boot. Same with this. Once again, I didn't want to have a new feel to it. So the back, very much like a corset on the back, has a series of eyelets. So I suppose if she wanted to put it on, you know, we could tie it hard enough. She could probably get away with it as a corset, but it just crisscrossed in the back all the way up. I was trying to get just a fancier feel. Actually, it goes up higher. At the time, it fit your whole core. Now you've grown a bit.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't fit my whole core. Right now.
Yeah. Like it should be up around here. So figuring that her stomach's down to here now, roughly. So. But I sewed that all myself. I used that leather fabric along with just a generic black fabric on the back side of it. Sewed it together and then went over the edges, obviously sewed together inside out, and then went along the edges for a nice seam look. Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
So once again, it's just purely aesthetic. This shirt, we'll get into the shirt. This.
Where did you put that on?
So the shirt was just a traditional shirt design. I did look up this specific type of shirt. It's the off-the-shoulder shirt, and I found some templates, but I wasn't pleased with them, so I had to touch and go with a lot of this. Believe it or not, it went out
Real
this far.
stretching.
And then I put in a elastic inside of it just to and pull it together to give it that frilly look or that look.
Stretchy?
Yep. Or the puffy look, if you want to say. This fabric, I used this fabric on a few other projects. I want to say your Amora costume had the same fabric in it. It's a stretch. It's a 4-way stretch. But once again, at the time, I wanted it to go further down, so it did go down past probably about between mid and upper thigh. It did go down that far. You do see in the comic images that she does have a shirt underneath that does go down, kind of almost like a skirt type deal, but yeah. So based on your
Not that long now.
based on your corset about how much you've grown, yeah, I'm about right. It did come up to probably about mid thigh and so on. And I then just put in some arm pieces just to protect it from the fabric. It can get a little bit prickly there, but with the rest of this costume, she wore black leggings and a pair of black boots. With this costume, I wasn't gonna go out and decide to get some leather pants for her to wear, which would be the first impression that you would get from the Drowned. Being Batman, or so it's either rubber or some sort of a leather. It wasn't needed, especially when you saw that you just heard me say that the corset and the shirt, she actually grew a bit in that, so I wasn't about to go and spend $100 on a pair of pants that she was going to outgrow within less than a year. I mean, I am dedicated to the costume work, and I suppose I could have did some pants in probably about that same metallic shimmer fabric, like the shirt, but in black. I suppose I could have did some pants in that, made some start pants or so, but leggings was just fine for that. She had some just run-of-the-mill boots bought off of Walmart, probably $15. So, but other than that, you heard me talking about her trident, which was it was a toy which I then chose to do some corrosion on. But I mean, other than that, this costume, I am very pleased with this costume, how it came out, and how well it came out, and I think it did fit the persona of the Dark Knights with Cody and myself, which you can see in this picture that my wife captured. She actually fits into this whole motif or so. But from what you remembered about your costume, how did it feel? Like I was asking Cody a bunch of questions, like at the con. He was in his costume and the movement and all that. To your knowledge or your remembrance of wearing this at the last con we were at, I mean, you were comfortable.
Yeah.
It was easy to get into, easy to get out of.
Yep.
All right. What about that cowl? Was that cowl fairly warm?
Yes.
Okay. Were you sweating in it or so?
Because
it is rubber, and you do expel a lot of heat out on top of your head.
A little bit.
Okay, all right. But I mean, no, the mask wasn't pressed against your head too much, and you weren't breathing heavy because that was too tight on you or anything like that. If I was to tell you on a scale 1 to 10 on this costume and being comfortable, what would it be? 1 being the least comfortable, 10 being the most comfortable.
10.
10, okay, awesome. And that says a lot. I mean, she does have a few costumes that I made for her that were very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
More and stuff like that. Her costumes have a tendency not to be so intrusive, if you want to say. I am working on a Wonder Woman costume that might get a little bit that way. It's not like Cody where, Cody has to, what we do for our art and, has to powder his whole body to get into it. You didn't need to. Thank God, because if I had to put 2 people in a costume like that, I think I would be screaming. So,
luckily it was only Cody.
Yeah. But what was your favorite part of this costume? Do you have a favorite part?
Not really.
Okay. I know she joined the costume contest. It's her second one out. She didn't place with this, but that's fine. Once again, you can't win them all. So she absolutely loves doing cosplay with us, and I'm actually very pleased to have her join us with the Dark Knights. And I'm hoping that later on in some other costumes, we're going to be able to all work the same and have the same type of costumes. So, all right. I think that's going to be it for this. We hit upon all the high points. We hit upon the con that we were at. Unfortunately, she's only worn this whole costume once or twice.
Once.
Once. I couldn't remember if you wore it for Halloween or not.
I think I did.
You did?
Maybe
Okay.
twice. I don't know.
All right. So let's say twice to be on the safe side. So, but anyways, I want to say thank you for stopping by. Kind of a quick episode, but thank you for stopping by. Thank you for putting up with me, and I have a tendency to ramble. Enjoy the time I spend with my daughter. So, if depends on when you're watching it, have a great weekend or a great week. And, do you want to say anything to the crowd?
It was a really nice, comfortable costume to wear at the con and for Halloween.
Good. Awesome. So, okay. Thank you all. And you have yourself a wonderful, wonderful rest of the weekend or week. Want to say bye? Take care.
Get 'em up.